Good afternoon, my Real News Media TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update. And in the news this afternoon, motorists to get electronic registration this month. Come July 21, motorists in Jamaica will be given electronic copies of their motor vehicle registration certificates called EMVRCS. The announcement came from Tax Administration Jamaica on Thursday, indicating the end of the traditional brighter colored stickers with punched holes indicating registration expiry. Yes, you read it right. Your registration will be strictly electronic. Say goodbye to physical copies and the decals stickers, the TAG said. The EMVRCS will be delivered to drivers' email with no printout needed. Drivers will be allowed to download the file. The move is described as a faster, secure, and more efficient way for motorists to get their MVR. Alleged digital predator granted bail. A St. James man accused of weaponizing sex tapes to manipulate and blackmail women has found himself at the center of a disturbing courtroom saga. Charged with malicious communication and the possession of identity information, Timoya Spence, the man at the heart of the storm, appeared in the St. James Parish Court Wednesday before presiding judge Natisha Fairclough Hilton. According to allegations presented in court, Spence has a troubling pattern of behavior dating as far back as November 2024. It is alleged that during his intimate relationships, he would record sexual encounters with his partners. When the relationships ended, he would threaten to leak the footage online if the women refused to return and engage in further sexual activity with him. In the matter currently before the court, Spence allegedly circulated a sexually explicit video of himself and a former partner via WhatsApp. The incident was reported to the police and Spence was arrested on June 26. When police apprehended him, he reportedly refused to surrender a mobile phone in his possession. A production order was secured, and after initial resistance, Spence turned over the device. Upon examination, the phone was allegedly found to contain identity information of people overseas linked to his Gmail account. During court proceedings, the lead investigating officer painted a chilling portrait of the accused. From our investigations and observations, Mr. Spence has this tendency to do things on the internet using various numbers and different social media accounts, the cop stated. He also has his secret place where he records the complainants, and from these recordings, he would send them videos and threaten to post them if they don't come back to his apartment and perform the same activities. The policeman further expressed a concern that Spence posed a risk of reoffending if released on bail. He stated that the only effective way to prevent the accused from continuing the alleged behavior was to restrict his access to the internet, a measure he argued could only be properly enforced if Spence remained in custody. The clerk of court agreed, arguing that Spence was not fit for bail, and if the Crown chose to grant it, severe conditions should be imposed, including a strict ban on all social media activity. Appearing on Spence's behalf, Attorney Chuma Paris revealed that his client had suffered a minor stroke while in custody and has a heart condition. He noted that Spence was currently hospitalized and cited poor cell conditions as a factor that had aggravated his medical issues. Arguing on humanitarian grounds, Paris urged the court to grant his client bail. Despite the Crown's concern, Judge Fairclough Hilton ruled in Spence's favor, granting bail in absentia on the humanitarian grounds in the amount of $750,000 with up to 3 sureties. The matter is set for mention on July 30, but that is not the full extent of Spence's legal troubles. The court revealed on Wednesday that he faces additional charges filed by 3 other complainants. Further charges are anticipated in the coming weeks. Jamaicans among several people held at Guantanamo Bay. Jamaicans are among several foreign nationals who are currently being held at Guantanamo Bay in Cuba, according to the United States Department of Homeland Security. It said the detainees are from Haiti, Jamaica, St. Kitts and Nevis, Brazil, China, Colombia, the Dominican Republic, El Salvador, Ethiopia, Guatemala, Honduras, India, Kenya, Liberia, and the Marshall Islands, Micronesia, Myanmar, Nicaragua, Nigeria, Peru, Romania, Russia, Somalia, the United Kingdom, Venezuela, and Vietnam. In a statement, DHS Assistant Secretary for Public Affairs Tricia McLaughlin said the detention of the foreigners with criminal records at Guantanamo Bay shows that President Donald Trump and Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem are using every tool available to get criminal illegal aliens off our streets and out of our country. U.S. media reports said that as part of an expansion of the Trump administration's effort to turn Guantanamo Bay into an immigration detention center, officials had transferred the detainees from Africa, Asia, the Caribbean, and Europe to the naval base. Initially, the base housed mainly Spanish-speaking Latin American migrants awaiting deportation. The list shows that Guantanamo Bay is housing detainees from all continents other than Antarctica. The criminal records of the detainees include convictions for homicides, sexual offenses, including against the children, child pornography, assault with a weapon, kidnapping, drug smuggling, and robbery. DHS officials said those with criminal records are classified as high-risk detainees and held at Camp 4, the post-9/11 prison complex at Guantanamo Bay that also holds around a dozen war on terror-era detainees, though it is a distinct part of the facility. Those without serious criminal records, or any at all, deemed to be low-risk detainees, are housed at a barrack-like facility known as the Migrant Operations Center. As of this week, there were 72 immigration detainees at Guantanamo Bay, 58 of them classified as high-risk and 14 in the low-risk category. The Trump administration has sought to use controversial detention centers and prisons to warn those in the U.S. illegally, particularly those convicted of serious crimes, that they will be found, detained, and deported if they don't turn themselves in or self-deport. Whether it is CCOT, Alligator Alcatraz, Guantanamo Bay, or another detention center, these dangerous criminals will not be allowed to terrorize U.S. citizens, McLaughlin said. The use of Guantanamo Bay for immigration detention, which is supposed to be civil and not punitive in nature, has alarmed the Democrats and the civil rights advocates. The Democrats have also denounced the cost involved in turning Guantanamo Bay into an immigration detention center. The Department of Defense told Congress in May that as of April 8, it had spent US $21 million transporting detainees to Guantanamo Bay. Civil rights advocates have called the detention of immigration detainees at Guantanamo Bay punitive and unlawful, arguing in an active lawsuit that federal law does not allow the government to hold those awaiting deportation outside of U.S. territory. Man found dead following house fire in Spanish Town. The body of a man was found following a fire at his house on Burke Road in Spanish Town, St. Catherine on Thursday. The deceased was identified by the police as Moses McIntosh. Reports are that about 2:50 a.m., the fire department was summoned to a blaze at a house along Burke Road. After the fire was extinguished, the body of a man was discovered during cooling down operations. The police's scenes of crime unit examined the scene and the body was removed. A post-mortem is to be done. The cause of the fire has not been ascertained. The Spanish Town police are investigating the matter. Guys, thank you for watching. See you this evening at 6 p.m. for another news update.